Damn it, man. Oh my god. That was my reaction 50% of the time when I tried to implement Firebase for the first time without any tutorials. And in this video, I'll be sharing the experience with you, so let's go. First, I go to firebase.google.com and then go to the console, then set up a new project, which I call it Friends Bakery. I accepted the Firebase terms, enabled Google Analytics for this project because I can use this to sort of understand what is going on with the website. I selected my own account and then created the project. While waiting, I went to Cloud to find out how to set up the Firebase authentication, which it gave me a flow and all the config codes that I can use for later. It then also gave me the admin.js file, which can be used to do the actual authentication on the admin page. Once the project is set up, the overview appeared. I then went to authentication and then set up the authentication there. I enabled email and password authentication and then also enabled Firestore for database. To create the database, I chose the standard edition, then click next, and then choose the location that is closer to me, then configured it to start in production mode because I don't really know what the other option do. Once the Firestore database is set up, I wanted to enable storage. I realized the storage requires money and I'm too broke for that, so I did not use Firebase for photo storage. Instead, I used another software which I will set up later. Next, I went back to project overview to link this database with the code. I selected web and then registered my app. This then gave me a JavaScript code and then created a Firebase config.js where I pasted in the code that Claude gave me earlier. Once they have everything set up, it's time to implement the authentication in the website. I asked Claude on how to do that, gave me the codes of everything and guided me on how to set up the software that I want to use for the image uploading, which is Cloudinary. So I followed the instruction, go to cloudinary.com, sign up for free, then ask a few onboarding questions, boring stuff, and then the dashboard appeared. I went to the settings, then click on upload, which is where the images will be uploaded into. I created a new folder, named it Bakes Images, and then didn't touch the rest of the settings because I have no clue what those settings do. After setting up the Cloudinary, I went back to Claude and then copy-pasted in the codes of the admin.html, admin.css, and then admin.js file into the code base. I then copy-pasted in the code of the auth.js file, which in theory will help to redirect the user when logged in successfully to the admin page. Also pasted in the JavaScript of our bakes page, which is used to render the recipes from the Firebase and the Cloudinary database to display the bakes that is stored in them. And for the index page, the updated code is to use to render the top bakes section that the admin can choose to be shown in the index page or the home page. Once that I pasted in everything, I trusted Claude and hoped that everything works. I went to the bakes page, clicked on the profile page, hoping that it works. Oh no, there's nothing. Nothing's happening. Then I clicked on order now, nothing. I went to the Copilot in VS Code and then asked how to fix the problem. The imports that the Copilot gave was outdated. I went back to the Firebase import to check on the version and it was 12.12.1, but the Copilot gave 10.12.0, which is outdated. But the Copilot gave another import, which is get Firestore, which previously was not there. So I copied the import, undid the previous change, and then pasted in the get Firestore import and accepted the other changes. Thinking that this will fix the problem, I went back to the bakes page, hoping that it will work. I refreshed the page, went to the cut button, nothing. Looking back at the JavaScript code, I realized that the code was actually very different from the previous one. So I requested it to update the code to implement the functions that was previously there, hoping that it will solve the problem. 2 errors appeared, which I had no clue what that means. I went back to Copilot to help me fix it. Nope, the fix that he gave did not fix it. A new error appeared, which I also had no clue what that means. Since Copilot was useless to me, I just went to ChatGPT. I asked ChatGPT on what the 2 error means and how to fix it. Then pasted in the code that I have. It gave me the idea to import getOf from Firebase and realized that the version that it gave was 10.12.0 and scared that the getOf function was not the latest one. So I went to Google to search on the latest version of the getOf Firebase, and it was 12.12.1. I copied the getOf import from ChatGPT and pasted it into the code and then updated the version from 10.12.0 to 12.12.1, then exported the authentication variable, hoping that all this will fix the problem. Another new error appeared, which I also had no clue what that means. I asked ChatGPT on how to fix it and he said something about the Firestone SDK being not the right version or something. I hopped onto Google to search the latest version of Firestore and lo and behold, it's 12.12.1. I went back to the code base and realized that the version was wrong, so I changed it to 12.12.1 instead. Went back to the web page and refreshed. Okay, it looked promising because instead of 2 errors it was 1. I then went to click on the order now button. Oh, it works! And the bakes was actually successfully added to the cart. Although the functionality worked, the error was still there, so I had to fix it somehow. How? By asking ChatGPT. The reply they gave did not really make any sense, so I pasted in my config file just in case that's what it is missing. Oh, I changed the version from 10.12.0 to 12.12.1 like the other imports. Went back to the page and a new error appeared. I realized that I did not add permissions to the Firestore, which made sense. So I went to Firestore and go to rules and added in the permissions that Cloud gave me. I went to refresh the page and it looks very different. I clicked on the profile icon and the admin page actually appeared, but I did not add any admin into the page. So in Firebase, I added a new account for the admin and then logged in into the admin page. Wow, the page was actually beautiful. An error appeared. I asked Cloud on how to fix it, and bruh. Again, once I refreshed the page, the error was still there, but I left the error aside for now and added a new big. Since I do not have any image of bigs, I just bought the builder as one of the big. Once I click add big, an error appeared, and at the bottom I realized that the message said that it failed to load bigs, and I think that's why the error appeared. ChatGPT gave an idea to just straight up get the bigs from the database and not order anything or do not do anything. Just retrieve the bigs from the database, and it did nothing. It also gave an idea to change the rule temporarily to allow read and write for everybody. And surprise, surprise. Instead of trusting AI to help me fix the problem, I asked Google, even though it's actually the same thing. And the things that it gave did not actually make any sense for my case. I did the next idea that ChatGPT gave to help debug the problem, and no console or anything appeared to help debug. I reported it into ChatGPT and it thought that the on-off state change did not fire. I was wondering whether this actually will work. I went back to the code and find the function there, and then realized, damn it, man. Oh my god. Again? I changed everything to 12.12.1 again and again and again and reloaded the page. And it actually worked. To fully test the admin page, I added in a new big using Bob the Builder again. And ta-da! Bob the Builder appeared. Yay! I went to the bigs page and it actually worked. Ignore the UI. And I successfully implemented it in the Firebase.